Is Russia Europe or Asia? I see lots of people argue about it in the comments. Let's talk about it. Russia stretches across two continents, Europe and Asia, which is basically one continent, Eurasia. Here is the Ural Mountains, which is basically the natural border of Europe. The interesting thing is that only 25% of Russian land is in Europe, but 77% of the population live there. You might think that those 25% of Russian land very small, but it is actually almost the same size as European Union. Well, now what about the culture? And it is actually also pretty much European nation. They speak Russian language, which is basically East Slavic language. It is very similar to Polish, Ukrainian, Belarusian, and other Eastern European languages. You can also check the city centers of old towns and cities in Russia, and they look very similar to the same cities in Eastern Europe. What about the Asian part of Russia? This is like very huge territory. They do have big cities over there, but people there are basically the same Russians who just occupied these lands and they were from European part of Russia. But besides that, this land is just basically endless tundra. They do have national republics there and also in European part of Russia, but people there are pretty much assimilated, except this region. Of course, politically, they turned back from Europe. It was never part of European Union, and now the relationships between Europe and Russia is very tough due to war in Ukraine. But geographically and culturally, this is still part of Europe.